Hello YouTubes, this is Grimweird coming back at you with more Enigmatica 2 Expert Mod Pack playthrough action for 1.12.2, and we were going to move on towards Britannia, get back to that and make our Elven Gateway, but I just wanted to push Blood Magic a little further, get a little more done on it. So we have, let's take a look at our book here. So in our quest book, we've got a bunch more stuff done. We've got the Master Blood Orb and Demonic Slate. We made the Ritual Tinkerer and a Weak Activation Crystal and a Ritual Diviner and a Ritual Diviner Dusk. So the Ritual Diviner basically lets you set rituals in place, and I'll show you more about that in a bit. And then the Dusk is just an upgrade to it. And so this guy lets you mess around with something like, the range, I forget what it says here, can be used to move the affected area of a ritual. Not going to worry about that too much. The Weak Activation Crystal is what you use to tap your completed ritual structure to make it go. And this one was strong enough to do our Well of Sorrows, and so that's what we got going on here. So changes I've made to the actual structure, I built a bunch more. So these guys here, the Space Invader ones, are runes of capacity, so I made some more runes of capacity, and I got more to make as well. We want to get this bad boy up to a capacity of, let's see, if we open up the book again, we need to make this Archmage Blood Orb, and it takes 80,000. And so we want to make sure that we get our capacity up to 80,000. And if we take a look here, we're at 74,000. So I wanted to make probably 8 more runes of capacity and shove them out on this this ring out here. I've also got here the ones that look sort of like red umbrellas. We've got some runes of sacrifice. So we're up to about double the sacrifice that you get when you're using the Dagger of Sacrifice on NPCs. And you may be asking yourself, what the heck is going on under the altar? Well, let's take a look. So what I did was I wanted to get that the amount of clicking, whether you're self-sacrificing or whether I'm cutting down, if we turn this back on, or whether I'm cutting down these poor villagers with the Dagger of Sacrifice. The amount of clicking is just insane, and I had to get some automation. So as you can see here, we've got a ritual Well of Suffering, or whatever it's called, and the Well of Suffering basically just does damage to things, and as it does damage, it fills up the blood thing. And I think it's supposed to stop when the altar is full. Oh, well, maybe it isn't stopping because I went ahead and threw a bunch more living rock in there to turn into blank slates just to see how this would keep up. And it's actually keeping up quite nicely with at least making living blocks, with the blank slates, which is like the, sort of most generic thing we could do here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this bad boy back off because I don't think we need it. But yeah, we're keeping up, and so that's good. I don't know that we'd keep up if we were doing, like, say, if we were, say, on, like, Imbued or Demonic Slate, but we're still doing a decent amount. So what's going on? This is going to be noisy, so I'm sorry. You can see I'm getting messages, too many mobs, too many mobs. So let me get up away from that noise for a second. So what I did under here was I set the Well of Suffering rune or ritual up right below the blood altar. And then below that I made a powered spawner for witches with a floor that is 10 by, that has a radius of 10 from the central spot. So the Well of Suffering will, if the rune is centered, So if the rune is centered here, right under our altar, it will go 10 in each cardinal direction, is what it will damage. So you can see if I put on my Illuminati from my laser, we can see that even these witches out here in this corner, way out here, are taking damage. So it's 10 by 10. And then I think it also goes something like 15 deep. And it also goes like maybe 10 high or 15 high. I'm not exactly sure how high because I wasn't planning on building anything above it. This villager is going to be like, several above it. But let's go down there and take a look at that room. So basically what I've got is a floor of 21 by 21 with a witch Ender IO powered spawner in the middle, pumping out witches. And then because it goes deep enough, I went ahead and put a second floor. I wasn't sure how fast it would kill them and etc. The reason I chose witches is because, of course, they will drink regeneration potions, so they will stay spawned and be able to heal. And because I chose witches, I probably could have gotten away with one witch-powered spawner. But if we go down in here, so you can see here is, let's go up a bit. This is going to get ugly, but let's try and get out of their line of sight. And they're all shooting at each other now. So this is the master rune here in the middle, and you can see a bunch of runes of fire, and you didn't have to, when I placed these, basically I put down the master rune and then just right-clicked it a bunch of times with just normal ritual stones in my inventory, and it automatically chose whether they should be air or water or dusk or fire or earth. So I didn't have to do anything other than just click on this a bunch of times. And so if we now go over here, we can go down a floor, and here's another floor. And again, it's not spawning anymore until maybe they die, because we've got a bunch in here. So let's get up out of that noise. Now, in theory, if you compacted this stuff as much as you possibly could, I think you could get 3 floors in there. Like, let's say you were using Cursed Earth, and I think you could have 2 floors that were 3 tall, and then 1 floor that was 2 tall, if you use Cursed Earth as the one single layer of floors in between them. So if you didn't have an Ender IO powered spawner and wireless power, you could do, just a normal spawning room, and then maybe 3 floors of spawning rooms down there. But since I had powered spawners available, it was pretty easy for me to just go ahead and do it that way. So things seem to be going good, at least for the basic thing of making a bunch of blank slates. It seems to be working fine. The one thing that's sort of bothering me here is that I thought when the blood altar was full, the well of suffering would stop doing damage, but that does not appear to be the case. So we're just probably gonna let the suffering go. But that's sort of a messy noise. But I can always get down there and turn off the powered spawners. And I could take one of the powered spawners out because I think one of them would be plenty. So there we go. We have now gotten reduced the amount of clicking that we have to do to keep this damn thing filled. So the next thing I want to do is I do want to make we have to get this bad boy up to a capacity of at least 80, maybe 82, to really make sure we've got enough for that last orb. So let's go ahead and that's going to be, let's see, we're at 74. So we want 9 more. 9 more would be, no, that's too many. Let's see. Can't think. My math coprocessor is blown. So 5 more would get us to 84 because you get 2,000 LP per rune of capacity. So we really only need about 8 more. 8 more would put us at 82. So let's make 8 more of these bad boys. Let's see. First, I got to see if we have enough buckets. Oh yeah, we got buckets. And then we need to get some of these out. I sort of knew I must have already known that I wanted 8 because I just made around 8 of them. I think that 9th one was an accident. And then we want to push the right button and do that and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fantastic. So now we're going to go down and put these. I don't know if there's any like rhyme or reason to how you need to put them here. If they need to be symmetrical or if there's any rules other than that you can't use the corners on this one. I don't know if there are any rules, but everything seems to be working. So I assume not. But so that should have taken us from 74, 76, 78. Oh, but I broke it, so it's not currently working. That should be 80. $82. Boom, we're in business. And now, when you do that, you sort of break your buffer, and you can see that we are adding life essence, or LP, back to that pretty darn quick, so that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and put the rest of these in. Give it a second to reform. Okay, we're at 90,000. And what do we need for that last stone? Was it 80 or 90? Let's see. Orb. It is 80, so we're good to go. Now we don't have a Gaia spirit, so we can't actually do that. But when we do that, we now have enough capacity, and if we've got this well of suffering going, we'll actually be adding to it as we go down, as we craft it. So we should be good to go there. So now if we look at where we are in our book, we've got so we can't do that until we get Gaia spirits, and we can't do this until we get Gaia spirits because we got to make Gaia spirit ingots. So we are. And what about this one? Yeah, we could do that, but I need to set up another ritual, a Gathering of the Forsaken Souls ritual. So that's why I'm making a bunch more of of these, because I need to make more ritual stones now, I think. How many ritual stones do I have left over? Oh, 51. I did make enough. So we might be good to go there. So I might be able to make that other ritual, but I haven't looked at it yet. I know it's another one of, like, killing monsters and what have you. So we might have to set up another kill room. There's an actual natural cave under here. So maybe I'll set the ritual up, over here, and then put a monster spawning room underneath it. Now that one, I think you get better credit for that ritual if it's a mixed types of mobs. So for this one, I might set up like a cursed earth kind of, just natural dark room. The only problem with a dark room is that this astral sorcery cave illuminator is close enough that it lights this area up. But we shall see. We'll think of something. All in all, I don't think we need that thing right now, so now we're really going to move on over to the Gaia thing. I'm tempted to go... Boy, the fact that this just goes and goes and goes is a little annoying. I could have sworn I read somewhere that when your blood altar is full, it would stop doing that, but apparently not. So let's go ahead. I can go down there and I can stop the powered spawners, but I don't think the witches will necessarily despawn. So all of that chaos will still be going on. Whatever. It is what it is. It's hard out there for a blood magician. So now let's go ahead and I guess I can park all of this stuff for now. All of our blood magic stuff. And our astral sorcery thingy. And we need to do the Elven controller thingy-maboob. So if we take a look at Britannia, we're going to be doing this bad boy, and what do I not have for this? Let's see. In the celestial altar, we need 4 living wood, glimmering whatchamajiggers. So we got that. We actually need to make the glimmering ones. Okay, that's just with... That's simple enough. And then, I don't know if we have one of these, but I did know it was coming, so I have plenty of lime petals. Star metal ingots, we should have those. And we should have these. We need 2 or 4. Only 2. Ruined marble. We got that. Terra steel nuggets. Is that the last thing we need? I think so. Wonderful. 4, 8... 10, 12, 21. And I remember last time that 21 is how many spots are here. So let's go. We need to wait until probably nighttime. I sincerely doubt we got enough juice to do this in broad daylight. That's not the one we want. Let's go ahead and hit A until we get this done. Load it up, and yeah, we're going to have to wait until the sun sets. So one of the things I did was I took, since I'm no longer self-harming, I took out the 3 regeneration stones from my personal beacon and added back in some more flight speed. So we can actually move pretty quick, and if we sprint, we can move really quick. And then also I put in, I think, one more. We took perks from Vicio. We took Astral Sorcery perks for run speed, and I put one more run speed back in, and then tried to dial down my field of view skewing. But we can run too. Let me check this out. I'm not even sure. Okay, yeah, fast. It is faster when we fly. Let's see what it's like when we sprint. Yahoo! So we are cooking. When I start my next mod pack and I'm just running around as normal, I'm going to have withdrawal from all the speed and from the creative flight. Alright, so that's enough blathering. I'm going to go ahead and hit pause here, and then we'll make our thing and assemble our portal and see if we can get some Elementium and Pixie Dust. And then, depending on the runtime, that'll probably be the end of this episode. But I will be right back when it's nighttime and we can use our Starlight Altar. Alright, night has fallen, and I think we're just about there. Yes, we are. Pretty darn cool. Elven Gateway, done. Elementium, done. Alright. See if we got anything interesting. It's been a long time since we got something interesting, which is to be expected when you're in the end game or approaching the end game. Let's go finish our thing. So I've prepped, I went ahead and made a bunch of mana steel, which we can turn into Elementium, and a bunch of mana pearls, which we can turn into Pixie Dust. I threw more blocks of charcoal into my things to recover that mana that I spent. We've got a decent amount of mana in our pools over here for the gateway, so we should be able to get some good elven trade going with the mana that we have there. I forgot to look and see if it requires anything to do to actually launch this thing. Maybe tap it with this? Oh, hey, good guess. Boom, we've got an elven gateway. Alrighty. Well, that's pretty cool. So now, if I understand rightly, if we throw things through it, the elves throw things back. Oh, and it went through. Alright, be that way. So we got Pixie Dust coming out the other side. Cool, cool. So I guess we'll just cozy on up here and just... if you stand close enough, you hoover it up. I can also turn on my magnet. Pixie Dust, Pixie Dust, Pixie Dust. I don't know how many I need, but might as well get a bunch. And I'm going to need at least like a dozen or so. How's our mana looking? Mana's looking good. Oh yeah, we got plenty. So let's try and get some Elementium. Some poor elf on the other side is just getting smacked in the face. Mana Steel for days here. Yeehaw! Wonder if you can throw the whole stack through and have them throw the whole stack back. I'm wondering if it's as fun. 52. Oh, that's right. It's 2 Mana Steel for 1 Elementium. But we have got stuff. What's that? Throw a Mana Diamond through to get a Dragonstone. Well, I have no idea what a Dragonstone is, but I want one. Let's see. World Seed. That sounds fabulous. Star Collar. Life Aggregator. Luminizer. All sorts of stuff here. We may as well grab some of those, right? Why not? Do I have any Mana Diamonds? I got 4. That doesn't seem like enough. Oops. Let's get a bit more. Not that much more. 16 more. That sounds about right. We get 20 of these. It's not like we can't come make more if we need them. Oh. I run so fast now that I'm like tripping over stuff. All right. Look out, elves. Incoming Mana Diamonds. Alright. We got the things. We have traded with elves. Let's do uses on this bad boy and see if there's anything else we want. Dreamwood. I think we actually are going to need some Dreamwood. Ooh, you can throw blocks through at a time. Well, that's good to know. I should have done that. Dragonstone, you can throw blocks of that through. Elf Glass, Elven Quartz. Alright, well, I think the Living Wood, I do know that if we look at our book here, this thing, I bet you uses, yeah, Dreamwood. So we may as well grab some of that. Dreamwood. Oh. We don't have it yet. Alright. We know we're going to need at least 6 there. Go ahead and get 12. Sounds about right. Alrighty. And Elven Quartz, do we want some of that? Sure, might as well get some. Get some. Quid pro quo, elves. Don't be holding out on me. Alright. Well, that's probably enough elven trading for now, and we are probably running up against a good time to end this episode. So we did a thing. We did a couple things. We now, if we take a look at this, I was going to break this and reestablish it. Bottom line is, it fills up pretty quick now. So the never-ending witch bonanza down there with all the sound is annoying, but I'm not going to spend that much time on that blood altar In fact, I'm going to spend no more time than I have to on that blood altar. So I guess it's okay. And I'm on a single player server, so I'm not worried about lag or anything. So, all right, so we got that set up. The next things we need to do are, well, we can't go any further on blood magic until we start whooping Gaia spirits, whatever the heck they are. We can now make a Gaia, well, we might be able to make a Gaia. Okay, we can make mana pylons. We got a couple of those already. We have Elementium and Pixie Dust now. Mana Dust, yeah, I got all that. So we can make 4 Gaia pylons. And then I think I don't know how this works. I've never done this. I've never even looked at a video or read about it yet. But I think we fight the Gaia Guardian probably multiple times, I assume, since Blood Magic is asking us for several of these Gaia spirits and Gaia ingots, and apparently we need spirits and ingots for some crafting here too, Gaia mana spreaders and what have you, and whatever the heck a Dice of Fate is. So what I'm going to do between this episode and next is the Conjuration Catalyst lets you duplicate items at the cost of mana. I'm going to make this now. I don't think we really care, so I'll probably do that off camera. And these spark things, I don't know anything about sparks, but now that I have pixie dust, I can make those. So I'm going to make all these spark augments off camera. And I'm going to finish these last 4 flowers off camera. They were the 4 flowers that required pixie dust. But we're not actually going to do anything with these flowers, so I'll just make them and throw them in the bank. And that will just leave us the Elven Mana Spreader, which we can do that. We got that. We got Mana Spreaders. We can now have Dreamwood. So we can make that. That's easy enough. We can make Gaia Pylons. So I'll make that stuff, and then at the beginning of next episode, we'll try and figure out what we need to do with this whole Gaia Guardian nonsense. But the end of Britannia is in sight, and if we kill the Gaia a bunch of times, then I think the end of Blood Magic is in sight. So then we might only be an episode or 2 away from going back into, I guess advanced rocketry is the next thing we need to do after cleaning up Britannia and Blood Magic. So that means going back into tech and making all of these big ass machines. I might have to create another floor in our underground base that has room for all these machines. So I'll start thinking about that between this episode and next. But alright, there you go. We did things. Got stuff accomplished. We're closing in on the end game real fast. We got one more sort of magic episode probably. And then there's probably going to be an episode about cleaning up Thaumcraft. We have to go create rifts somewhere and seal them and all that garbage. But then some advanced rocketry. That's probably going to take us 3 or 4 episodes. And then we'll be getting into all of the nastiness. The draconic evolution and the bragging rights. And God knows how long this will all take. Possibly a while. Yeah, I don't know anything about any of this stuff, so this might all take a while. But that's where we're headed, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. And I lied, we're back. So I'm going to throw a little epilogue on the end of this one. So I was wandering around considering what to do next, and I got incurable nausea. So it was like a 4-second nausea that just kept going and refreshing itself, and I assumed it had something to do with either the elf gate or the blood magic, so did a quick Google. And it turns out that I guess if you leave these rituals going, things happen to you. And so the master block goes right about in here. So I came in here and mined out the master block. And of course, when I came in here, the witches went nuts and all started attacking me, and I was nauseous. Fortunately, we're in game, so I'm invincible. I didn't really have to worry about them, but it was making me a little motion sick. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a ceiling here. And then we'll just have a secondary access point. So we'll still be able to hop up through here. This is the first floor of witches and the second floor of witches. I cleaned all the witches out. I put these on pause. And what we'll do is we can create just another little access port here that will allow us to drop down and without being attacked by witches, restart this ritual just by replacing. So I think the master thing, actually let's just go ahead and try. I got one on me. So bang, and then you feel a push but are too weak to perform this ritual. Okay, so that's the right spot. And I guess I can leave that there because I'll just need to come back and reactivate it. So I'll need to figure out what happens here. So I went ahead and threw my both my Master Blood Orb on here, and it's not doing anything. It's not like it's recharging, so I'm not sure what its problem is. And I threw that on there in case the activation crystal needs to recharge. It's not doing nothing. There's this weird thing where it sometimes asks me to use some of the lower tier orbs. So maybe let's pull those out. So here's the Magician one. That might be the one it's looking for. And the Apprentice one. And I've got 5 weak blood orbs because I didn't know what I was doing, and I made 5 of them. So let's try this one, see if it recharges if we throw it on there. Aha. So probably what I need to do is keep this bad boy on me whenever I'm doing that ritual. Maybe that's what's going on. So we'll let this guy run up. So different rituals must be powered by different orbs. So yeah, that's going to be my important safety tip, is keep the Magician orb on me if I'm running that Well of Suffering. So we're going to go ahead and let that power up. I think it takes about 20,000. No, it must take more than that because we're already down further than that. Maybe it takes 50,000. I don't know. We'll just give this a second. So what I was doing so it looks like the Gaia area is about a 9x9, and I'm probably going to need to feed it. So I'm thinking I'm just going to expand this wall out by 9. So that's what I was doing when I got nauseous. I'm going to just expand this entire wall out by 9 or 11 or so, probably out to about this torch, and fill in all of this. This is all cottage cheesed because there's like caves under here and stuff. So it would be good to sort of clean this up and run our wall out here a ways. The other thing was there was this. This is one of those little places with the rail carts and a couple of a couple of chests. So this area around here is all chattered up, Swissed up. So we'll just extend our wall and out here, and I'm pretty much done with this farm anyway. If I need to grow anything else, I can use our melon cloche. Let's go see if this is done. Wow, it is sucking things up, isn't it? How much does this bad boy hold? I might have to get out my, where is it? My dagger. Here it is. I was curious how much we're getting, so we got nothing. I think we're getting several hundred now. I was really hoping I was done with this action, because this gets real old real quick. Alright, we are keeping up with it. So that's good. But we are sucking a lot of blood into our network, so I'm not sure how big our network is. Maybe that thingy will tell us. This guy? Current essence, 121,522. So when this stops, it looks like it may be it. Oh no, it just ran out of blood. So that's probably how I can tell if I'm going to get nauseous, is take out my sigil of, what is this, the Seer's Sigil? Yeah, the Seer's Sigil. And if I right-click that, right-click, it gives me that message, current essence 131,000. Well, anyway, this is sort of boring, so I'm going to take care of this. I was going to start up the ritual again, but you know what? I think I am going to start up the ritual again. That way you guys can see it do its thing. We should have enough power now that I can start it back up without dry heaving. So now, if we take the activation crystal, we should hopefully have enough network power. There you go. So right at the moment, it's just going to attack the guy up above us. How much is it given per tick? A couple hundred. That ain't bad. But now, I think I'm just going to turn on the bottom one of these. To help with the sound issue. There they go. Oops, so now we can turn this guy off. Let our witches take the heat. Down here so we can see how many we got. So we're at too many mobs. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's some more. So it says too many mobs, I think, when there is in the 9x9 that is centered by the power spawner. I think there can only be like I don't know, somewhere between 4 and 6, maybe 4 and 8 in that 9 by 9. But since that room is 21 by 21, they can actually spread out, and we can end up with considerably more once they start heading for the corners, because mobs do tend to spread out. So I don't know how many we get up in here at once with the powered spawner, but it's enough. So now if we look at this thing, it's going up a pretty decent amount. I'm going to go ahead and throw this back on there. Get topped back up. And we're keeping it pretty good with this thing soaking up power, so that's cool. Because as we saw when it drained our 90,000, this thing drains pretty quick. But we're sort of keeping up with it. How much damn mana did we have in our network? Or our LP, or whatever they call it. And we're at 131, 132, 139. So we're adding faster than we are subtracting, so that's good. I wonder what happens if you leave, if I just left this sitting here. Would it then offset the ritual? I don't know. So basically, I'm just going to let this run a bit longer until it's done. So 150,000 is apparently our top essence for our network. So that's good to know. Important safety tip. So we're going to go ahead and pull that off. And then let's take a look and see how quickly that well of suffering is dropping things. Okay, so it is counting down. Alright, so I think the whole nausea thing is understood and explained now. So since we don't really need that anymore, I'm going to go ahead and kill that. There's probably a better way to do that. But it's not too hard to replace it and restart it, so master. Alrighty. So for now, we're just going to let this chill. Let's get a piece of marble and button this back up. And I'll try and figure out how I want to. I might have a second elevator that just goes down to the thing, or I might be able to. The problem with this elevator is that there's actually a rune in the way, so I can't use it to go down to that stair. But maybe I'll make a second elevator that goes down to one of these spots, like say that one. So maybe I'll put an elevator there and an elevator here so I can get down there easily. Anyway, so now we're really going to end this episode. So I got a little more time tonight, so I'm going to expand this wall and then call it a night. And tomorrow we will hit up the whole Gaia situation and see what's going on there. Talk to you next time. Bye.